Hi everyone! I hope you're all having a great day. I actually had another video scheduled for this morning about a few of my very beautiful and special past relationships, but after reading many of your comments so far about the video regarding the narcissistic hoovering that I posted, what is today, this morning, yesterday when you see this, they were all such great comments, and a few of them made me realize I should do a follow-up. So this video is a follow-up to that video about narcissistic hoovering and what I encountered the other day. And the reason why I'm doing this follow-up is that some of your comments indicated to me that what I used to believe, I would like to clarify and to help make a certain particularly evil and dark behavior of the narcissist. And that, here we go, another fly, right? And what is so misleading about them is they portray themselves as someone who they are not. And that is very difficult to wrap your head around if you're not familiar with the tactics that narcissists use. And again, this is the reason for my follow-up, because I really want to focus on this, because it took me years to understand. And now that I do, I hope to spread awareness and share what I've learned, because it can be invaluable if you ever encounter this behavior, or maybe you are dealing with it now. So first, before I forget, I have not shared every single issue I've had with these people that I referenced in the other video, but I'm going to give you an example for why I decided to distance myself. And I'm not sure what you call it. I'm not sure if you call it manipulative behavior, but it all falls within the realm of the narcissistic mindset. Now, this was about 2 years ago, and gosh, maybe even 3. I don't remember, but I was occasionally still speaking to them, so it might have been 2 or 3 years ago. Now, I live, of course, out in the woods on a very quiet dirt road, and because it's so quiet at night, you can hear things out in the distance. And one of the things that I often hear are the coyotes. And these people used to have a dog. And sadly enough, the dog was kept outside on a chain. And it was a German Shepherd cross, but I never was comfortable with how they kept that dog outside on a chain. Now, some of you may say they're fine, and it's pretty common out in the country that people do that. However, on this particular summer evening, I heard the coyotes howling more than normally. It was a summer night, approximately 10 o'clock, it might have even been 10:30, 11, and the coyotes sounded as if they were near that dog on a chain, which was at least 2 to 3 miles away from me. But remember, I live out in the quiet, out in the woods, and sound travels very easily at night out in the woods. And if you've ever heard a pack of coyotes, especially when you're familiar with how they're circling something, it can turn into a frenzy before they attack whatever they're circling. And the sounds were coming from where they lived, and all I could think about was that poor dog outside on a chain. Well, I was besides myself trying to decide what to do. Should I go up there, drive my truck, and tell them that I'm concerned about their dog outside? Will they be upset? Will they be angry? What should I do? What if I do nothing and that pack of coyotes attacked that poor dog on a chain that can't run away. What should I do? So I waited about, a torturous 20 minutes. And I finally decided that I was going to drive my truck down the road and knock on their door and tell them that I was concerned for that dog on a chain outside. Well, that's exactly what I did. It may have been even 11 o'clock at night. And as I pulled into their driveway, I could see the flicker. You know how you see the lights from a TV flickering? So I knew they were still awake. And the dog they have a couple of lots next door, and they had put the dog quite a distance away from their home. Knocked on the door, and this woman answered it, the same woman I was talking about, and she looked extremely annoyed. And at first I thought, gosh, maybe they'd been drinking a little bit. I don't know. Why is she annoyed? Well, I still have no idea if they were or not. The husband was in the chair watching TV, didn't even get up. And I said to her, I hear what sounds like a pack of coyotes next door. And it sounds like your dog on a chain might be their potential dinner. Well, the look on her face was utter disgust, which really shocked me because I really expected her to say, gee, thanks, Barbara. I didn't hear those coyotes because we're watching TV. I really appreciate that. I appreciate your concern. But she didn't say anything, and she stepped outside, and I followed her to her next door lot where there was a broken down trailer where they were allowing someone else to live, but that person was not there for whatever reason. And I noticed the dog had no water, and I pointed that out, and she did not respond to me. So she filled the dog's water, and I said something to the effect of, aren't you worried about the dog? And she looked at me and she said, the dog is fine, Barbara. You don't need to worry. And she did not say, mind your own business, but I could sense her anger towards me. Why I was even there, as if I was questioning her ability to care for the dog, which I was. But I was doing it in concern for the dog. Well, she went back in the house and slammed the door without thanking me, and I went home, and I was pissed. But I was glad I went there to confront her over the dog. Well, 2 weeks went by, and I let it go, and I did not stop in, I did not speak to her. And then 2 weeks later, I decided to see what her reaction would be, and to see if she would thank me for being concerned for the dog, right? And I'm up to 8 minutes. Now here's where it gets really bizarre. And this is why I'm telling this story. Because I want you to understand, for those of you who are not familiar with narcissists and how self-absorbed they are. Because this is exactly what happened. And I believe this is the last time I ever stopped in. She opened the door with the angriest look on her face. And I stepped in, and I don't recall the exact words, I wish I could, but she said, you know, Barbara, I'm still angry. Now here's where I went wrong, because I tried to reason with her. And I said, I'm sorry you're angry. I was worried about the dog. Where I lived in New Hampshire, I was always looking out for my neighbor's horses, and she was looking out for mine. And sometimes in the winter, if her horse's winter blanket was crooked or came off, I would walk across the pasture and fix it and give her a call and let her know I did it. And she would thank me, and she would do the same for me. And we were always like that, and we never had an issue. I'm really sorry you feel that way. Now this is going to blow your mind, because you know what she said? She said, well, thank you for apologizing. Now, let's have tea. I really appreciate you apologizing for your behavior, Barbara. And I sat down at her table, completely blown away. And I think I sipped half the cup when I realized I had stepped into the twilight zone. Now, she was thrilled. She went from 0 to 60, from angry to delighted, because I had stopped in, and in her mind, I had apologized. And she had her narcissistic supply back. Now, if you didn't get that, please feel free to rewind this, this video and listen again, because I was apologizing for her being upset, not for my behavior towards her, but in her mind, I was apologizing for having stopped in and being concerned for the dog. Now, how twisted is that? And that is how narcissists think, because everything is about them. And she never thanked me for being concerned about the dog, for being concerned about the dangers of having a dog on a chain with a pack of coyotes, hungry coyotes, seeing that dog as a potential meal source. And maybe those coyotes had been scoping out that dog for a long time, knowing that that animal had no means of escape. Now, shortly thereafter, they got rid of the dog. And I'm glad they did, because I was tempted to call animal services. But see, the more you engage with a narcissist, good or bad, they thrive on the drama. Now, before I forget, and I keep saying that, I'm sorry. There was another comment, and I absolutely value every single comment. There was actually a few, and of course the comments are still coming in, and I haven't read the new ones yet. But this one was very, very valuable, and I found it important also to address. That a few people have suggested that I write them a letter, and I explain how I want to be left alone. And that is a trap to do that. And I'm going to try to explain the best I can why that is. Writing a letter is going to backfire. Number one, it's going to give them the ability to completely deny that what I claim happened never happened, and that I am at fault, and I am the one creating the drama, and I am the one who is bringing attention. And by writing the letter, I'm actually giving them attention and giving them drama, when what I'm saying in the letter is, I don't want their attention. So does that make sense to you? I hope it does. And here's another thought. A narcissist would love if I wrote a letter like that, because what they would do is they would take the letter to all their, what they're called minions, people who believe them, their twisted side to things, and they will use the letter to justify what this person is claiming in the letter never happened. And if you have a struggle believing that, believe me, that's true. And the only way to deal with a person like this is to completely ignore them. And I think I'll get a dash cam in my truck. I should have gotten it a long time ago. Just leave it on. I don't have to worry about it. And in hindsight, I should not have even answered these people to say, no, thank you, I don't need a ride. That was my mistake, because it caused them to react and respond with more fury. So realize that even being polite, even being courteous, even being reasonable will amount to absolutely nothing, and possibly infuriate them further. Now, before I end this video, I'm almost up to 15 minutes. I'm going to close it with this. Realize that their issues are their problem. It is not for you to resolve their issues or try to rationalize with a person who is irrational. it's only going to cause more drama and more unnecessary drama in your life. Now, who needs that, right? Now, I didn't know all this 20 years ago, or however old I was when I married my second husband. I didn't really know about narcissists, even though my parents were as well. And I spent years trying to rationalize with this type of personality. And I'm using the term narcissist only because I think we can relate to this type of behavior, even though I'm not qualified to put a label on these people. Yet, this behavior is indicative of this personality. And the more I learn about these people, I have learned that the behavior is the same regardless who the individual may be different, the situation may be different, the behavior is always the same. So the key is to ignore them, continue to ignore them, which is what I plan to do, and not even to respond with a 1-word or a 2-word response, which was my mistake the other day. And even eye contact is a response. Don't even do that. Just ignore them, ignore their minions who will believe them. And I'm going to throw this one last thing out there. And I'm not doing this, I hope, in a derogatory way. And I guess maybe in a way I might be. But this video is to raise awareness that these people are highly self-centered in their religious beliefs. And when I first met them, they made it clear that their religion was the only one to follow, and I was at fault for not being a part of it. And what an irony. What a complete disastrous irony. But if you think about it, look how religion is so often used as a shield for really, really twisted behavior. And especially people in authority in religious cultures use that as a shield to hide behind who they really are. And I'm only going to say that much because that is the case in this scenario with this couple. Now, this experience living near these people have really, really been good for me in the way that I better understand the minds of narcissists and abusive and manipulative people. However, their behavior enables me to use this as, I don't want to say teaching tool, but to raise awareness about who these people really are and to help you deal with them in your own life. If you either have encountered them in the past and you're still struggling with understanding their behavior, maybe you're struggling with the situation now, or if you encounter them in the future. I am not concerned moving forward. I know exactly how I plan to deal with them, which is to continue to ignore them, to video them if this behavior continues, and to use my video and my phone as a means to prove my point, to leave me the heck alone. So please feel free to continue to ask me questions, leave your comments. Some of your comments were spot on about how my ignoring them has fueled their rage because they are unable to control me, and that by thinking or assuming that since I'm such a nice person, I must be a weak person, and because I live alone must mean that I'm needy and lonely. And you got it, because I think that's part of this misconception of who I am, because nothing could be further from the truth. So I hope this video shed some light using my own present situation which I plan to completely consider over and done, case closed, chapter done, time to move on. And tomorrow's video, I hope, it's actually a very beautiful recollection of some of my past relationships. And I talk about, I raise the question about, is a failed relationship with someone you once cared about, and I mean this in a romantic sense, an ex-girlfriend, an ex-wife, an ex-husband, is it really, was it really wrong, or was it really right? And in a sense, it ties into this one, because wrong relationships can be right for the right reasons, such as what you can learn from them. So I hope you enjoyed tomorrow's video. If you're interested in watching it, I hope this one was helpful. And I really find value in so many things in my life, and I hope that they can provide meaning for you. And that is the entire reason for my YouTube channel, Solo in the Woods. And pretty soon, when it cools off, yes, I'm going to get out hiking again. It's too hot. The air quality is horrible. I have a sore throat. I have kind of a headache. And I don't think the dogs feel so great either. They're kind of lethargic, even though they're both fine. They're eating their meals and they want to play. But I'm not going to push them, and I'm not going to take them hiking until the air quality improves. So thanks again. I hope you're all having a great day. And please feel free, as always, to leave me questions and comments. And take care, everyone.